The Treachery of Rhudaur. Having escaped imprisonment in the goblin dungeons of Mount Graham and the icy death in the rugged cold fells at the hands of hungry trolls, the heroes had finally reached the woods of Rhudaur. The company made good time for several days. Fair weather and plentiful food motivated them to travel at a brisk pace. Yet, no matter how many leagues they crossed, the dark presence and fear that had been tugging at the back of their minds ever since escaping Mount Graham never ceased to haunt them. When they slept, they were plagued by dreadful nightmares, and every waking moment was filled with the sensation of being pursued. As they traveled, evidence of the kingdom's collapse peppered the woods. They crossed through ancient ruins and made their way around towers of stone and rubble, long forgotten and ravaged by years of disrepair. This area has been largely uninhabited for centuries, Emithril explained to them. Once Rhudaur was annexed by the Witch King, those loyal to him were called to fight in his long war with Arthedain. The kingdom of Rhudaur was abolished and left to ruin. They should have you teaching young pupils, one of the companions said with a chuckle, and Emithril himself gave a smirk. Perhaps this is a path I chose for myself, Emithril disclosed. His expression grew solemn. When I was younger, I followed Ierion and several other rangers on a hunting expedition. I was eager to prove myself to the others, that I could be one of them, but I was too brash and foolish, and the orcs captured me. Ierion risked his life to save me. His determination, his willingness to sacrifice everything, inspired me to become more than a scholar or a healer. I swore that I would repay my life debt with steel and blood. I wanted to become a warrior and a leader like him, to save others like he saved me. The ranger gave a sigh and rubbed his forehead worried. Now he is the one held captive, tortured or worse, and I am powerless to help. Emithril appeared inconsolable. It had been tough watching the young ranger's determination go unrewarded for so long. I understand now why you are so driven to find him, one of the heroes said. Do not lose hope. We are not defeated yet. Just then the young ranger's gaze was drawn behind the heroes, deeper into the woods, and his eyes widened. Is that what I think it is? He muttered and ran ahead. They hadn't seen Emithril run that swiftly since departing from Fornost. It didn't take long to catch up to the ranger. The building he had seen lay 50 meters away, obscured by trees and brush. The pinewood forest opened into a small clearing concealed on all sides by a dense overgrowth. At the other end of the clearing, they saw a stone gatehouse, decrepit from years of disrepair, forgotten by time but standing strong nevertheless. Behind the gatehouse stood the ruins of an ancient keep tucked into the woods. They had seen several such ruins throughout their journey, but what caught their eye was the symbol painted upon the wooden door of the gate. It was the symbol of the regal hawk in flight. Emithril pulled Ierion's pendant from underneath his tunic, where he wore it on a thin chain. This symbol! It's the same, he explained, holding the pendant up next to the symbol on the door. You said Ierion wore this pendant proudly as a symbol of his lineage, one of the heroes said, and the company exchanged anxious glances. This is a fortuitous discovery. We have not the slightest clue why Thuridir and his Dukanor, who commands him, took Ierion captive at Fornost. If Emithril is right, and the Wraith was after Ierion in particular, these ruins might hold the answer to this mystery. There was a murmur of agreement, and Emithril nodded. Then what are we waiting for, he declared, an eager light in his eyes. But as soon as they opened the door to the gatehouse, a furious gale, chill as ice, knocked them to the ground. The wind shrieked. There was a foulness in the air all around them. In the ruins and in the woods behind them, something evil haunted Ierion's ancestral home, and worse, the malevolence that had followed them from Mount Graham was close behind. Who on both sides? This scenario uses the keyword investigation. This scenario includes 3 side quests which are added to the staging area during setup. Quest side face up. These cards are double-sided with a side quest on one side and a clue objective on the other side. While they are quest side face up, they function as an encounter side quest. Each of these quests has the text, when this quest is defeated, flip it over. This means you turn it so that it is objective side face up. As an objective, each of these cards has a text that allows the players to claim the objective and attach it to Emithril, or to a hero. Therefore, by completing each of these side quests, the players are able to claim objectives that aid them in their quest. The Secrets of Rhudaur. You've decided to explore the ruins of this ancient keep, but Thuridir pursues you and time is of the essence. We're going to make the Great Hall the active location. We're going to set Thuridir aside, probably not for long, out of play. Add the 3 Treachery of Rhudaur side quests to the staging area, quest side face up. Search the encounter deck for one copy of the Ancient Causeway and add it to the staging area. The first player gains control of Amithril. The Great Hall is our active location. Look, we need 8 progress to get through this. Holy moly. Forced. When the Great Hall is explored, each player discards the top 5 cards of the encounter deck and chooses an undead enemy that's discarded this way and adds it to the staging area. Then over here we have the Ancient Causeway. This one will be in the staging area. It says, when Ancient Causeway is explored, raise each player's threat by 2. Here we have the first of the 3 side quests that will be out in play. This is Decipher Ancient Texts. You look through the keep's many torn and ancient records, hoping to find information to help you understand the enemy's plan. While Decipher Ancient Texts is the current quest, allies get -2 willpower. You can spend an action to pay a resource to place 1 progress on here. Any player may trigger this action, limit 3 times per round. Our second quest is Quiet the Spirits. While Quiet the Spirits is the current quest, each undead enemy that enters play immediately engages the player with the highest threat. Enemies that engage a player from this effect contribute their total threat to the total threat in the staging area until the end of the phase. After an enemy is destroyed, place 2 progress on Quiet the Spirits. Finally, we have Sift Through the Debris. You search through the ashes of the keep's destroyed rooms. If you are diligent, you may be able to find a clue as to Aerion's ancestry. While Sift Through the Debris is the current quest, each location in the staging area gets +1 threat. After a location is explored, place 2 progress on this card. We have here Time 5, Forced. After the last time counter is removed from the Secrets of Rhudaur, remove each Treachery of Rhudaur side quest from the game and immediately advance to Stage 2. During the quest phase, Secrets of Rhudaur cannot be chosen as the current quest, so I'm going to have to choose one of the other side quests to be the active quest. If there are no Treachery of Rhudaur side quests in play, so if we somehow get enough progress to clear all 3, that's not going to happen. But if we do that before that time marker goes all the way down to 0, we immediately advance to Stage 2. You may recall that we lost Gandalf at the escape from Mount Graham, but it turns out he was totally fine, just like Gandalf style. He found his own way to escape. He's back with us. I'm going to have some fun, and since this isn't a terribly difficult quest, and the next 2 are, I'm going to have 2 kind of fun quest decks here, or decks that we're going to use. One is a Grey Wanderer Gandalf deck with Ents, and the other one will be a Grey Wanderer, so I'm going to have to proxy a second one of these, but I'm going to do another Grey Wanderer Saruman deck, because who doesn't want to do the 2 wizards on their own? Oh, I love it. So we know how Gandalf works. He's a 3/3/3/5. He plays with the top card of his deck face up, and when you play that card, he's considered to have the printed resource of that card's type. Otherwise, his resources are colorless. We do have Amithril, just like we've had the last few quests. We do have our Grey Wanderer. You cannot choose more than 1 starting hero, which is what we did. We have here, search your deck for an attachment with a printed cost of 1 and put it into play. So we're going to put Strider onto Gandalf. That's why I have him having the +2 willpower. So right now he'll have +2 willpower. He will not exhaust to commit to the quest. And of course, don't forget, during the game, we'll have this on the B side. I do also want to mention we'll start at 14 total threat. I don't know why, but it just seems so fitting that Saruman would have the 1 ring. So he's going to play with the 1 ring. Remember, that means he will be eliminated at 5 threat earlier than normal. So you'll be eliminated at 45 threat instead of 50. Of course, he's starting only at 13, so likely he'll be okay. We will have the Grey Wanderer as well for him. I'm going to proxy that by using the Council of the Wise. So if you see that, that's why it's there. When I have to exhaust it to ready him and whatnot, I just have that there so I don't forget. We can put 1 attachment that costs 1 or less and put it out in, or I should say it's only 1, put it into play. We are most certainly going to do Strength and Courage. That will be attached to Saruman. That will give him +1 attack. And we can use the ability that says after the attached hero is declared as an attacker, exhaust the 1 ring and raise your threat by 1 to double the attached hero's printed attack. Doubling that attack is 8, and he'll have 1 here that's 9. So he'll be able to attack for 9 right off the get-go. I feel like Strength and Courage is an amazing card. We also need to remember the One Rings ability as well. We get to search our deck for a master card, and I will add this into my hand after I draw my 6 cards. So I'll start the game with 7 cards. This is the master card we're going to have in our hand, Inner Strength. Gandalf will be our first player. Let's draw our 6 cards and see what we have. We have a Booming Ent, we have a Shadowfax, we have Narya, oh nice, we have a Timely Aid, I like to see that, a Flame of Arnor, and a Wizard Pipe. I think I'm actually going to keep that. We are going to reveal the top card of our deck. Oh, it's a Steward of Gondor. Sweet. So that is on top of our deck, and we can play that. That is awesome. For Saruman, let's draw his 6 cards. He has a Word of Command, he has a Defender of Nath, a Sylvan Tracker, he does have the Deep Knowledge, a Nath Guide, and a Defiant Challenge. Well, this means we could get anything that we want. I don't know. I think I actually will keep this one. Let's go ahead then and start our game. We will draw Steward of Gondor for the Gandalf deck. We have a Master of the Forge on this side. Saruman will gain the Greenwood Archer. We'll put that into his hand, and we are ready to go. Don't forget the top ability on the Grey Wanderer card. It says the first non-unique card you play each planning phase does not require a resource match. So because of that, we have 1 resource. We can play Timely Aid right off the bat. Secrecy 3, so the cost is only 1 because our threat is 20 or less. We can reveal the top 5 cards of your deck and put 1 revealed ally into play if able. I could potentially get the Master of the Forge for sure. That's why I felt comfortable doing this. Okay, Flame of Arnor. We have Treebeard. That's awesome. Another Steward of Gondor and a Wandering Ent. Well, yeah, I mean, on an Ent deck with Gandalf, why wouldn't we do Treebeard? We'll place Treebeard out, but he comes into play exhausted because of his ability. We'll then shuffle up Gandalf's deck a bit, and then we will reveal the top card, which is a Test of Will. On Saruman's side, I do think we are going to exhaust Saruman, and we're going to play the Word of Command. Exhaust an Istari character to search your deck for 1 card and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. This will cost us the 1 resource that he has here, but that's pretty much perfect because we're going to grab the Saruman Staff. Then what we're going to do is use the Grey Wanderer, which will push our threat up to 14, and we're going to use the ability to generate 2 resources for him and be able to ready him. That's the 2 actions. Of course, I'm using that card. I could show you it here. We're using the Grey Wanderer's ability in order to ready him and generate 2 resources. He doesn't need any healing. But with those 2 resources, we can immediately play then that staff. The staff allows us to take the action to exhaust Saruman's staff to choose 1. Reduce the X value of the next doomed X event you play this phase by 2, or search the top 5 cards of your deck for a doomed event and add it to your hand. That, of course, costs 2 resources to do that, but I think that was well worth the effort. Now let's go ahead and quest. For questing, we don't even have to exhaust Gandalf. Gandalf will quest for 3 plus 2, which is 5, and then we will exhaust Saruman, so that's 6, 7, 8. So we're questing for a total of 8. It might be useful if I told you which quest card was going to be the active quest card. We're going to choose Decipher Ancient Texts, purely because, hey, we're not questing with any allies, so the -2 willpower does literally nothing to us. And we only need 14 to get through this. We'll draw our first encounter card, and we have a sorcery right off the bat. I do have a Test of Will, but I have no resources. When revealed, deal 1 damage to each exhausted character. Each player with a threat of 35 or higher, we don't have to worry about that. We're at 14 threat even. So deal 1 damage to each exhausted character. That means Treebeard will take a damage and Saruman. But that's it, actually. That isn't as bad as I was thinking. I was thinking Gandalf would get hit too. No. Our second one, we have my least favorite enemies, the Cursed Dead. When revealed, put each copy of the Cursed Dead from the discard pile. We don't have to worry about that right now. There's none in the discard pile. So that will just come out into the staging area. We quested for a total of 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We get to place 4 progress on here. We didn't even get through the Great Wall, or the Great Hall. How about the Great Hall, not the Great Wall? That means during the travel phase, we won't do anything with the Ancient Causeway. We'll simply engage the Cursed Dead. I think I will have Gandalf's deck do that. We'll place a shadow card on to the Cursed Dead. I will exhaust, let's exhaust Gandalf. He has 3 defense, he's attacking for 3, no shadow effect, so no problem there. Then we have Amithril, and I do think I am going to use the Grey Wanderer right now. I'm going to exhaust that, increase our threat by 1, so we're going to go up to 15 to give ourselves 2 resources and ready Gandalf. So Gandalf now can attack for 3 plus Amithril, that's 6. That means the Cursed Dead is toast. Before we move to the end of round, we will exhaust Saruman's staff to reduce the cost of this card's doomed value by 2, so it's free. Each player gets to draw 2 cards. So that means Saruman will draw another Deep Knowledge, and he'll draw a Resourceful. Oh, that's nice. And we know Gandalf will get the Test of Will that was on top of his deck, and his other one is a Darien's Runes, and then the top card of his deck will be revealed as Quick Beam. To end the round, we'll tick down our timer down to 4. Only 4 more rounds, so you can assume something's going to happen with Thuridir. We'll move our first player token over to here. We will increase threats, so we're going to move 15 for our Saruman deck and 16 for our Gandalf deck. And we're going to draw. We have the Tree People here for the Saruman deck. We have Quick Beam for Gandalf, and apparently another Test of Will. To start off for Saruman, we are going to exhaust the Grey Wanderer. We're going to increase our threat to 16. We are going to heal him by 3. Let's get rid of that 1 point of damage and generate 2 more lovely, lovely resources. Then we're going to use 2 out of the 3 of these to play our first card, which does not need resource matching. After the Nath Guide enters play, choose a hero. That hero does not exhaust to quest this round. We'll choose Saruman. With that 1 remaining resource, we will drop the Resourceful onto Saruman so that going forward he'll generate 2 resources a round. And remember, that's because he's in secrecy, he's only at 16 threat. Then what do you say we play the Tree People? Return a Sylvan ally you control to your hand to search the top 5 cards of your deck for a Sylvan ally. Put that ally into play and shuffle the other cards back into your deck. You can only play 1 of these a turn. It's 0 cost. It is lore, but Saruman is a lore hero, so we can play that. So from what I understand, Nath's ability will still go into effect. He can quest for free, but we can pop her back into our hand, look at the top 5 cards for a Sylvan ally, and put it into play. Our top 5 cards only have 2 allies that we can play, but I think Galadriel's Handmaiden we need questing terribly. And after she enters play, choose a player. That player reduces their threat by 1. I think I'm going to actually choose the Gandalf deck for that. So I'm going to reduce the Gandalf's deck threat from 16 down to 15. I want the Saruman deck to have the higher threat. So the Gandalf deck is down to 15 and Galadriel's Handmaiden is in play. The first card we're going to play this round, and it doesn't need to have a resource match, is our Darien's Runes. We get to draw the top 2 cards of our deck and then discard 1 card from our hand. We'll draw the Test of Will we knew about, and then what's our second one? We have another Timely Aid, and then we can discard 1 card. We have to discard 1 card. What the heck am I going to discard? I don't want to discard the Booming Ent. He's amazing, but I don't want to discard anything else. So Booming Ent, it's you. We're going to discard the Booming Ent. That hurt a little bit. And of course, we get to flip over this top card, and we have an Ent draft. We're then going to pay 1 resource from Gandalf's resource pool to put out the Wizard's Pipe, attached to an Istari character. Technically, we could actually put this onto Saruman, but it's much better in Gandalf's deck. Exhaust this, and we can exchange the top card of 1 card in your hand with the top card of your deck, which is cool. I think I'm going to use that right now. We're going to put the Ent draft into our hand, and we're going to put the Steward of Gondor on top of our deck. That means we can actually play this from the top of our deck from the ability of Gandalf once per phase. We're going to spend these 2 resources to play the Steward of Gondor right on him, and then we'll exhaust that to immediately generate those 2 resources back, because that's the most ridiculous card in the entire game, and I love it. We'll then, of course, reveal the top card of our deck, and we have, the Entmoot. We'll place that on top of our deck. Next, I do think I'm going to place Narya on to Gandalf, attached to Círdan or Gandalf. The attached character gains the leadership resource icon. We can exhaust Narya and the attached character to choose and ready up to 2 allies. Each of those allies get +1 attack and +1 defense until the end of the phase. Yeah, this is going to be awesome with the Ents, if I can ever get the Ents going. This will spend our last 2 resources. Okay, I think we're pretty much spent. So we're going to move to the questing phase. At the beginning of the questing phase, we can play once per phase the top card of our deck for free. This is an event, so we can do that. Play only if you control at least one Ent character. Well, we do control Treebeard. Search the top 5 cards of your deck for any number of Ent cards and add them to your hand, and then shuffle the other cards back into your deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to see lots of Ents. I've got 1, 2. Wow, I've got 4 Ents. Actually, is that considered an Ent card? Because all 5 of these are Ents. Never mind, it's not characters, it's Ent cards. Can you believe it? All 5 of these cards are Ent cards. We have a ridiculous hand now. We'll then reveal the top card of our deck, which is a Darien's Ruins. That's hilarious. First things first, I did forget that we did destroy 1 enemy. We should have placed 2 progress on Quiet the Spirits. Second thing, we are going to make that the active quest this time. We need 14 more progress to get through this. We'll quest for 3 plus 2 here for 5. Remember, the 9th guide came out and had Saruman. He does not have to exhaust to commit to the quest. We'll add 5 more for 10 from Gandalf, 11 here for Amathril, and then 12, 13 from Treebeard. Let's draw our top 2 encounter cards. Our first one is the Decrepit Remains. While the Decrepit Remains is in the staging area, each location and side quest in the staging area gets +2 quest points. Just harder to get through. And our second one, we have the Ruins of Arnor. After the when revealed effect of a treachery card is cancelled, raise each player's threat by 2. I really hate that card. We quested for 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, and we already have 4 on here, so that's 4 to complete it, 5, 6, 7. We get to place 3 more progress on this one, that's a total of 5. This also means the Sift Through the Debris gains 2 resources because we just explored through a location. Of course, we have to deal with the location now too. When the Great Hall is explored, each player discards the top 5 cards of the encounter deck and chooses an undead enemy discarded this way to be added to the staging area. Here's our first 5 enemies. I am going to choose the Cursed Dead for sure. It's not nearly as hard to kill. In the second set of 5 cards, the only one that I have is the Treachery of Rhudaur. With these 3 locations here, I think the Decrepit Remains will be the one that I make the active location. Yeah, it means I'm dealing with this, but I think I can handle it. I'm going to have the Saruman deck engage the Treachery of Rhudaur, and I'm going to have the Gandalf deck engage the Cursed Dead. We'll grab shadow cards, 1 for the right and 1 for the Cursed Dead. We're going to exhaust Saruman to defend against that first attack. The attack is for 3. And we have no shadow effect. He's got 2 defense. You can see that right over here. So he's going to take 1 point of damage. On this side, we will most certainly exhaust Gandalf to defend against the attack. Oh, this card's got a shadow effect. It states, if the defending player does not control at least 1 clue objective, we do not, this attack is considered undefended. Oh, that attack is for 3 hits right to Gandalf. He only has 5 health. Ouch. Saruman is going to exhaust his staff right here. He will then use the Deep Knowledge card, reducing the doomed cost by 2, so each player gets to draw 2 cards. Saruman will draw both the Defiant Challenge and he has the Galadriel's Minstrel. Gandalf will draw the Darien's Ruins and he has the Daredangle Warrior, and then we get to flip the top card of his deck face up and he has a Wandering Ent. Because we played a doomed event card, though, that will ready Saruman. Saruman then will exhaust the One Ring using the Strength and Courage. That's going to increase his threat by 1, so he's going to go up to 17 total threat. But now he gets to double the value of his base attack. His attack is 8 then, plus 1 is 9, 5, 6, 7, 8. This guy had no chance. Gandalf will use the action of the Grey Wanderer. That means he will increase his threat by 1 to 16 to ready himself and generate 2 resources. I will take that. That also means he can attack and take out the Cursed Dead. It has 3 health. That's 2 more enemies destroyed, so we also get to place 4 more progress on here. That's 9. We just need 16, so I need 7 more progress to complete this, and we can get one of those clue objectives. We'll end the round ticking this down to a 3 already. Oh boy. We're going to move the first player token back over to Gandalf. Gandalf will move up to 17 threat. The Saruman deck all the way up to the 18 total threat. We'll draw the Wandering Ent, and we have Galadriel's Weaver. We'll flip this one over, and we have a Welling Hall Preserver. Well, I think it's safe to say we need some more questing, so let's spend 3 resources from Gandalf. Remember, I have the Steward of Gondor, so that's how I generated 3 resources there instead of only 1. We're going to put out that Welling Hall Preserver from his hand. Remember, this comes into play exhausted, and then it has a response after it readies, heal 1 damage from an Ent character. That's sweet. That means that we could heal the 1 damage from Treebeard, but that is in play right now, exhausted. We then have 2 resources here on Treebeard. Cannot have restricted attachments. Treebeard enters play exhausted and collects 1 resource each resource phase. These resources can be used to pay for Ent cards. Yeah, so let's pay the 2 resources here so we can put out Quick Beam. Now, Quick Beam has an ability that after he enters play, deal 1 damage to him to ready him. Definitely going to do that, so he's going to come into play damage. But it's looking like we are generating some Ents. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to play Timely Aid. So we can look at the top 5 cards of our deck and put 1 ally into play. We are still only at 17 total threat, and we have Narya, which means we have leadership as one of our resources, so I don't have to worry about having that resource. We know we have a Welling Hall Preserver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what other goodies we have here. Yeah, I'm going to keep going for the Welling Hall Preserver for the questing, but of course he's going to enter play exhausted. We'll then flip over that top card of our deck, and we have a Daringer Warrior. Cool. We're then going to exhaust Narya, and we're going to exhaust Gandalf so that we can ready 2 characters. They're going to get +1 attack and +1 defense. Who cares about that? That +1 attack and +1 defense is only for the phase, and we're in the planning phase, but this means we've readied both of our Welling Hall Preservers, and it says after the Welling Hall Preservers are readied, we can heal 1 damage from an Ent character. So since we did that to both of them, we can heal these 2 Ents. This is going to be fun. We're then going to use our Grey Wanderer's ability, increasing our threat by 1, going up to 18, which we like to see. We are going to ready Gandalf because he can always quest for free. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're no longer going to have the +2 willpower. So we lost the 2 willpower, but we can still quest for free. That's why I want to do that. And we'll generate 2 more resources. So we have a total of 3 resources here. I'm then going to spend all 3 of those resources? Yeah, I think I'm going to. And I'm going to put out Shadowfax. We can attach that to Gandalf. He's now ranged and sentinel, and we can exhaust this to essentially ready him. It's an unexpected courage that's absolutely ridiculous. Here we have our board state, and I am liking how it looks. 1, 2, 3, 4 total Ents. We still have Amathril and Treebeard. For our 2 resources this round for Saruman, I think we're simply going to put out the Nath Guide. Once again, choosing Saruman so he can quest for free. And as much as I want to use this, I want their threats to be 18 so that in case enemies come out, because I think I'm going to choose that same quest, I want to be able to choose which character gets it, because if they have the same total threat, then we can choose which one gains those enemies. Speaking of which, moving into that questing phase, we are going to choose Quiet the Spirits again as our active quest. On the Gandalf side, we'll quest for 6 plus 3, 7, 8, 9, plus 2 more, 10, 11, and do we stretch it? I think we do 12, 13 from Treebeard. We'll do 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and we're only questing for 1 here, so I think I'm not going to. I'll use her potentially as a defender if we need. So 18. 18 to 5. So let's draw our first encounter card, and we have, when revealed, discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. The first player must either remove X progress from among the quests in play or assign X damage among characters that they control. X is the total threat of the discarded cards. Ooh. Okay, so our first one is no threat. I love treacheries. I love treacheries. That one's only 4. Oh boy. If I have another one of those. No. Okay, so it's only 4. We can deal 4 damage, I think. Our Ents have ways to heal, so we're going to deal 1 damage to each Ent. 1, 2, and then 1 here, and 1 to Treebeard. Our second card then will be the exact same card. Okay, let's see, how much do I get this time? Oh, yeah, that's a 1. So we have 1 here, we have nothing here. That's another one of those. And the third one, how many of those are there? 2. So we have to do 3 more damage or remove 3 progress. You know what? Let's remove the 3 progress. We're going to remove 1 from the Quiet the Spirits and the 2 on Sift Through the Debris, because I'm not sure I'm going to be getting through all of that anyways. And these get discarded. We quested for 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. We can place 10 progress on here. That means this one is done. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 18. Awesome. We can flip this over. We'll place this out in the staging area. We can exhaust Amithril or a hero to claim this Dukanar's brand. Then attach Dukanar's brand to that character. And it gives +1 attack while attacking undead enemies. We don't have any enemies out, so let's do Saruman. We'll exhaust him, giving him another +1 attack, and he's going to claim the Dukanar's brand. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. We did just explore through this location, so I'll discard that, placing 2 progress onto the Sift Through the Debris. And then to travel, we're going to simply travel here, getting 2 threat out. There's no enemies out, so we'll move right to the end phase. We'll tick our timer down to 2, so we've got 2 more rounds, moving first player back over to the Saruman deck. The Saruman deck will move up to 19 total threat, and we'll have 19 threat as well for the Gandalf deck, each drawing a card. The Saruman deck has Horns, that's a fun one, and we have the Darendingle Warrior over here for Gandalf, flipping over his top card, and he has Flame of Arnor. Starting with the Saruman deck this round, we'll spend those 2 resources that we have, and we are going to play Galadriel's Minstrel. This says, after Galadriel's Minstrel enters play, search the top 5 cards of your deck for an event card and add it to your hand, and then shuffle the rest of the cards. So let's grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 here. Let's see what we have. That's the event I was looking for. We've got the Tree People. So then I'm going to shuffle this into our deck quick and then play the Tree People. We're going to place the Nath Guide back into our hand so that we can reveal one of these cards from the top of our deck. Let's just shuffle these up and put them into play. And the nice part is we can then spam the Nath Guide next round so that Saruman does not exhaust to quest. I love doing that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's look at these 5 cards. And this is what I'm talking about. We have the Marksman of Lorien. After Marksman of Lorien enters play, choose an enemy. Well, that part isn't going to matter, but a 3 attack with range, I like it. On the Gandalf side, the first thing I want to mention is that when the Welling Hall Preservers readied themselves, they each healed 1 damage from themselves. We've left the damage on these 2 characters. We're then going to spend 2 out of the 3 resources that Gandalf has to play out a Wandering Ent. Just keep the Ent train going. We're then going to exhaust the Wizard Staff, putting Flame of Arnor into our hand with putting the Ent Draft on top of our deck so we can spend that 1 final resource here so we can play this out. But I actually think instead of playing it on one of our characters, well, yeah. I think I'm going to put it on to Saruman because when Thirdir comes out, I think I'm going to have Saruman be the one to take it out because that's just awesome. What do you say we try and sift through some debris? So I'm going to make that the active location for our questing. This says while this is the active or current quest, each location in the staging area gets +1 threat. So that's the Ancient Causeway now is 4 threat in the staging area. We'll quest on the Saruman side for 2 + 3, which is 5, + 1 more, which is 6. We'll do 7, 8, 9 for Gandalf, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then we'll do 16, 17, 18, 19. I'm realizing I forgot to flip the top card of my deck face up. We've got a Booming Ent here for the Gandalf deck. 19 to 4, we have, only a 5, so that's actually a 6. Oh my gosh, 19 to 9, so let's place 1 threat token on here to remind myself. Action. Raise your threat by 1 to reduce the threat of this location by 1 until the end of the phase. So we can do that actually after we've revealed all of the cards if we would like. Our second one is deal 1 damage to each exhausted character. Well, that's a lot. I have no way of stopping it, though. So that means Quick Beam and Treebeard will have 2 points of damage. The Welling Hall Preservers will each have 1. Oh, that's going to kill the Galadriel Handmaiden, which will actually knock ourselves down to 18. It's also going to kill the, oh my gosh, the Minstrel. So that's going to knock us down to 17 total willpower. And no, each player, yeah, no one's at 35, so you don't have to worry about that part. Just so you can see the carnage here, we only have Saruman out with 2 damage now, and the Marksman of Lorien. We also have some pretty damaged Ents, but you know what that means, that booming Ent would be awesome to get out. I recounted my questing, and I have a total of 16 questing. We have 6 here, so that means we're questing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So we got through this, which will place 2 progress here, and then we get to place 3 more on there. Boy, we're hardly going to get 2 of these done. So what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 11 more on this thing. Now I could increase our threat. Is it worth it to get more? No, it's not. It's not worth it. I'm not going to worry about it. We're simply going to discard that card. We still have no enemies out. I do think let's just get this out and make this our active location and leave this out in the staging area. Now that's going to end this round. So I am going to, I don't know, do I want to? I think I'm going to do a couple things during the end phase before moving on and drawing cards. I'm going to activate the Grey Wanderer, pushing ourselves up to 20 threat, healing Gandalf by 3, and then generating the 2 resources. Also, just so you know, when we do refresh, I am going to have each Welling Hall heal Quick Beam. I don't want to lose the 3 attack from Quick Beam. We're also going to exhaust the Grey Wanderer over here, pushing ourselves to 20 total threat, generating 2 more resources, and healing up Saruman by 3. He only has 2, but at least that way I'm going to have 4 resources then next round to play with. Well, here we go. Last round before we go to quest card 2. We'll go down to 1 time. We'll increase threats 21 for both decks. And then from there, the Booming Ent goes to the Gandalf deck, and we'll flip over the top card. Oh, Gandalf's Staff. And we have, oh, another Galadriel's Handmaiden for the Saruman deck. The first thing we're going to do is have the Gandalf deck play this Booming Ent. The Booming Ent gets +1 attack for each damaged Ent character we control. We control 3, so his attack right now is 5. I love it. But don't forget, he will come into play exhausted. As usual, that cost 2 resources here. Then we're going to spend 2 more resources to play the top card of our deck, and that is our Gandalf Staff. We will attach that to him. We can exhaust the staff to have a player draw a card, add a resource to a resource pool, or discard a shadow card from a non-unique enemy. What do you say we use our 2 resources here from Treebeard to also put out the Daringal Warrior? It'll also come in to play exhausted, has an awesome ability to deal itself a damage to give it +3 total defense for an attack. Wow, but it does come into play exhausted, so that's 2 of them into play exhausted. I do need to remember to reveal the top card of our deck. We have, oh yeah, Entmoot. Wow, lots of Ent cards. Last but not least, let's use that Wizard's Pipe so that we can exchange Entmoot with a Test of Will. Let's put that on top of our deck. That way, during the questing phase, we can always put that into play and cancel a Treachery card if we'd like. For our Saruman deck, we will simply spend 2 resources here to drop out that other Galadriel's Handmaiden. We'll push our threat down to 20 from 21. We'll then play the Sylvan Tracker, but you're going to go, I only have 2 resources. Well, I'm going to exhaust the Gandalf Staff to give +1 resource to the Saruman deck so we can put out the Sylvan Tracker as well. After the Sylvan character readies during the refresh phase, heal 1 damage from that character. And it's any Sylvan character, which is kind of nice. But that will be all of our resources for Saruman. You know which quest we're trying to complete, the Sift Through the Debris. We'll quest on this side for 2, 3, 4, 5, +1 is 6. Can you imagine how Amathril would feel right now surrounded by trees and Gandalf? 7, 8, 9. Then we'll do 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then 18, 19. Okay, that's, or should we, yeah, 19 should be good. We'll flip over that top encounter card and we have a Traitorous Rite. When Traitorous Rite engages a player, remove 2 progress from each quest card in play. Oh, that is terrible. It's a good thing that came out now. And our second one is deal 1 damage to each exhausted character. Do we want to deal with that? Part of me doesn't, and part of me thinks it'd be hilarious to have booming ents that are ridiculous. We'd lose the Galadrium Handweaver, but that's it. So we'd go from 19 to 17 total questing. I think let's soak it. Let's soak that. We're going to lose the Galadrium's Handmaiden. We'll deal damage to everyone else. Well, you guys, we're going to be too short. I probably should have canceled that treachery, but it's just too much fun. We quested for 17, minus 4, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. This gets through. We have 7 progress that we can place on there, plus the 2, because we explored that location. So I'll add another 7 on here. If we count up all of our progress here, we have 16. If I had kept that Galadriel's Handmaiden, we would have had 18, exactly what we needed to claim this clue. But we didn't claim it. It is what it is. At least this location is gone. Then during the travel phase, we will simply travel to this one, and then we can deal with this rite. We're most certainly going to engage this Traitorous Rite with the Gandalf deck, and that means we have to remove 2 progress from each of the different quest cards. It doesn't even matter because we're going to discard all those quest cards anyways. We'll grab a shadow card for this Traitorous Rite, and then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to exhaust Narya and Gandalf so that we can ready 2 of our allies and give them +1 attack and +1 defense. Then we are going to exhaust Shadowfax so we have Gandalf ready. We're going to ready the Daringal Warrior, and we're going to ready Treebeard. We're then going to use the Daringal Warrior to defend, and we're going to do its action to deal it a damage and give it +3 defense for this attack. So its defense is 5. 5 defense, 2, and we have the attacking enemy gets +1 attack, +2 instead if there's a copy of the defending character in its discard pile. Yeah, my discard pile is tiny. The only thing I have in there is a booming ent for allies, so I am totally good there. Attacked for a total of 5. Our defense was 2 + 3, which was 5. Then all we need to do is deal it 6 damage. We have 4 attack here +3, that's 7, that's more than enough. That total Traitorous Rite is gone. I'm then going to increase our threats by 1 for each of us. So we're each going to do the generating 2 resources. So I'm doing 2 here for Saruman. That way he'll have 4. And I'll heal this 1 point of damage. Not that it really matters. And then for Gandalf, I'll do 2. So he has a total of 3 resources. And then he'll gain 3 more at the beginning of the next round. Now, though, 1B is complete. Let's move to 2A. I can't believe I was 2 progress short. As you study the clues that you found, 1, you feel a chill wind flow through the keep. You will not leave this place alive, a sinister voice echoes throughout the halls. My master Dukanar wills it so. Thuridir, Armathur exclaims, unsheathing his blade. When revealed, add Thuridir to the staging area, and then we're each going to have to find from either the deck or the discard pile an undead enemy, and adds it to the staging area, and then shuffle the encounter deck. Well, I think it's safe to say the Cursed Dead is probably our best bet for enemies, and I can get them out of the discard pile in case I draw that treacherous last one. I think I've got 4 in the discard pile, 3 or 4, I don't know. Then we have Thuridir. Of course, he's indestructible. He's a 4/6/4/9. After a treachery card with the sorcery trait is revealed from the encounter deck, he heals 3 damage and makes an immediate attack against the first player. Yeah, we love him. Not. The wraith you fought in Fornost has followed you since your flight from Mount Graham. Your only hope is to escape with the clues that you found. We need 30 progress here, but we get -5 quest points for each clue objective attached to a character. Yeah, so it's 25. Woohoo! So we need to get 25 progress here and just get 9 damage on the Thuridir. Remember, we can't actually kill him. We can just deal him 9 damage. We'll increase threats 23 for the Gandalf deck, 22 for the Saruman deck. We'll move first player over. We'll place that Test of Will back into our deck for our hand for our Gandalf deck. We have Ent Draft. Ooh, that's nice. And we have the Scene Stone that will go into Saruman's hand. I feel like it makes the most sense to start off this round with a Nath Guide, choosing Saruman so he does not exhaust to quest. We need questing, and we need him ready in case he A, needs to attack, or B, needs to defend, or something like that. We're then going to use that Gandalf staff to generate one more resource over here so that we can also put out the Defender of the Nath. It's a Sentinel, and after a Sylvan ally you control leaves play, you can ready the Defender of the Nath. If you look over here, I almost feel bad for Thuridir. We have one Booming Ent that can attack for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 attack, just one character. Oh boy. I almost forgot. Treebeard should generate one resource. That's nice. Let's go ahead and just simply place out one Wandering Ent. This Wandering Ent will be exhausted when it comes out. We'll spend one here and one here. But we still have one Wandering Ent ready for us to quest. We'll then use one of our resources here so that we can play from the top of our deck the Ent Draft, and we're going to put that onto Gandalf. That way Gandalf has 7 health as well. We'll then flip over our top card and we have a Word of Command. Oh boy! As much as I like having that there, though, I think I am going to do the Wizard Pipe, and I'm going to swap that with a Test of Will. I want to have that Test of Will ready. I've got 4 resources, so hopefully that will be a good idea. Okay, let's go ahead and quest. We know what we're doing. We've got to get 30 quest points. Let's see what we can do. We're going to quest for 1 here, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, I think that's all we're going to be able to do is 20 for this round. There's a total of 6 threat in the staging area. Our first one is a Treachery. Oh, it's not a sorcery Treachery, but it's a Surge. The first player must choose a new quest to be the current quest available. Oh, we can't do that because we removed the other quest cards. So that just does nothing. It just surges. So we'll surge into a Ruins of Arnor. Ha! And then our next one is a Ruins of Arnor. Okay. We quested for 20. We have 10 in the staging area, 2 to do this, and then we'll place 8 on the main quest. But of course, when the Ancient Causeway is explored, raise each player's threat by 2. That means the Gandalf deck will move up to 25, and the Saruman deck will move up to 24. Okay, then for travel, definitely the Ruins of Arnor. Let's get that out of here. But we're not at 27. And as much as I want to kill these guys, I also don't want to deal with A, all the shadow cards, and B, the potential that if I draw another Cursed Dead, it's just going to bring all of them out from the discard pile anyways. So I think I'm just going to leave them, and I'm just going to have the Gandalf deck engage Thuridir. We'll then grab a shadow card for Thuridir, and I think I'm actually going to defend with Gandalf and then use Shadowfax to simply ready him. He only has 3 defense, but he has 7 health thanks to the Ent Draft. He's getting attacked for 6, no shadow effect, so that means he'll take 3 damage, and he can soak that no problem. Then I think we'll exhaust Gandalf and Narya. So many things. So we can ready 2 allies, and they're going to get +1 each to their attack. Their defense doesn't matter. The attack is what matters. Our 2 allies will ready are Quick Beam and Treebeard. So Treebeard will attack for 4, +1, which is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll attack with those 2. Then we've got 10, 11, 12. Then we have 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 from the Booming Ent, and 21. So we're attacking only for 21. I don't think Thuridir is used to having trees attack him. 21 minus 4, 20, 19, 18, 17. He has 17 damage on him. Yeah, he's not dead, but he basically is dead. Of course, he is indestructible, so he's not really dead, but he's a pain in the butt. I'll tell you that. We are then going to exhaust the Grey Wanderer, increasing our threat to 26 to be able to ready Gandalf. Well, I don't even care about the readying Gandalf. Actually, we're not going to ready him. We're going to generate 2 more resources and heal him by 3. That's what I wanted to do. After doing that, when we ready our 2 Welling Hall Preservers, we will also heal up Treebeard by 2. We'll end the round by moving our first player back over to Gandalf. We'll increase our threat to 25 for the Saruman deck and 27 for the Gandalf deck. The Gandalf deck will draw that Test of Will that we've seen 8 million times. We have our third Ent draft, and the Saruman deck will get Galadriel's Minstrel. Moving to the preparation phase, I think we're going to play an Entmoot with Gandalf. Remember, that's our one card that we're playing that does not match the sphere. We're okay with that. So we're going to draw for sure the Entmoot. Let's look at the other 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Any Ent cards we can put into our hand. That's what I was looking for, our third Welling Hall Preserver. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle this up. We'll then place our deck back here. We'll flip our top card, and we have Narya. Yeah, we don't need Narya there. So then we will exhaust the Wizard Staff so that we can swap Narya with the Welling Hall Preserver that we just drew. We'll put that there, and then we're going to spend the 3 resources that we have on Gandalf, and we're going to play that Welling Hall Preserver out. Now it's going to be exhausted, but I have a way to get it ready. We know how that's going to work. So it's going to come into play exhausted. We'll then flip over the top card of our deck, and we have a Test of Will. On this side, we have 2 resources. Let's use one to play the Galadriel Weaver. I cannot attack or defend, but that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for questing. After the Galadriel Weaver enters play, shuffle the top card of your discard pile into your deck. So I will spend 1 resource. That top card is this Galadriel's Handmaiden. We're then going to move into the quest phase, and I am going to use our staff so that we can reduce the doomed effect on the Horns card. Each player may put 1 ally card into play from their hand. At the end of the phase, shuffle each of those allies that are still in play back into the owner's decks. On the Saruman side, we'll choose the Galadriel Minstrel, and that allows us to look at the top 5 cards of our deck for an event and put it into our hand. Here's our top 5 cards, and we can grab an event. Let's grab Deep Knowledge. For the Gandalf deck, we'll put out another Daringal Warrior. It'll come into play exhausted. However, with that, we will then exhaust Gandalf and Narya so that we can ready 2 of our allies, giving them +1 attack and defense. Who cares about that? When we ready the Welling Hall Preserver, we can heal 1 point of damage. We'll do that on the Daringal Warrior here, but we still have 6 Ents that are damaged, which I like. Thank you to that booming Ent. We're then going to quest out like nobody's business. Oh yeah, first we're going to use Shadowfax to ready Gandalf. So Gandalf can quest for free for 3, +1, which is 4, +2 here is 5, 6. Then we're going to do 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We've got 18, 19 for these 2. And then 20, 21, 22, 23. Wow, 23 just from our Ents. We'll then do 24 for the Weaver, 25 here, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. 30 total. Wow. It's 30 to 4. Let's reveal our first card, and it's a sorcery, Treachery. Deal 1 damage to each exhausted character. Oh my gosh. Yeah, thank you very much, Test of Will. We can play that and cancel it with 1 resource from Gandalf. But I do believe we still revealed that Treachery card, so that means we are going to have Thuridir attack. He will heal 3 damage and do an immediate attack, but he still has enough damage on him to not be a problem. He's going to attack for 6. We are going to exhaust Gandalf to defend this, and we have no shadow effect. Are you serious? So only 3 damage to Gandalf. That means Gandalf is still here and kicking. Let's reveal our second encounter card. Before we do that, we do get to reveal the next card. We have a Wizard's Pipe on top of our deck. Okay. This one then is just one of the traitorous whites. We quested for 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21. We'll place 21 progress on here, plus the 5 and 3. That gets us past the 25 we need. Thuridir has more than 9 damage. I think we just won the game. We just escaped Thuridir's pursuit yet again, thanks to the trees. The trees in the area saved us. If you ask me, that's a pretty epic looking set of Ents. We've got some Sylvans jumping in and out, and Saruman and Gandalf leading the way. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks so much for watching. That is another quest. I actually really like that one. I think that one's a lot of fun. The next two are going to be a real challenge. I'm going to be using probably some pretty pumped up decks to try and get through those because, yeah, well, you'll see why when you watch. Let's go back to the story. The company's investigation of the ruins was fruitful but dangerous. Ierion's ancestral keep was haunted by the Wights of Dunedain who had sided with Angmar and the spirits of those they had slain in their wicked pact. It seemed that few Dunedain had managed to escape from this place alive, just as the heroes were barely able to escape with their lives. Once they had reached a reasonable distance, they began to piece together what they had found inside the keep as they walked at a brisk pace. Most of the ancient documents they found were too tattered and faded to read, but some were still legible. Among them was a family tree inscribed inside a leather tome bearing the hawk crest they had become familiar with, the crest of Ierion's family. "Look," the hero holding the tome shouted, pointing to the tree. "I recognize this name, Dukanar. That's the same name as the one who commands Thuridir, the Lord of Angmar, mentioned in the Goblin dungeons." One of the companions shook her head, pondering what they had learned. "It cannot be the same person. It's been over a century. The Dunedain are long-lived, but they are not immortal. The Dukanar in this family tree should be long dead by now." They pondered the thought for some time, but they were too weary from their hardships to come to any conclusions. While they were starting to understand the events that unfolded in Arnor many hundreds of years ago, there were too many pieces of the puzzle still missing. "We should continue to Rivendell," one of the heroes declared at last. "Even Thuridir cannot pursue us there, and we can consult Elrond about these matters. If there is anyone who will understand what we are dealing with, it is he." There was a murmur of agreement, and the company continued traveling with great haste. The ghostly presence of Thuridir hung over them still, an ominous storm cloud threatening to overtake them if they dwelled any longer. Our next scenario, the hardest one in this entire series, is the Battle of Carn Dûm. I hope you guys are ready for it. It's going to be fun. As always, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I will catch you at the next stop.